The United States hung on to win the gold medal. The attendance at Wembley, just over 80,000, an Olympic record for a women's football match.
With women limited by gender bias in many areas, Congresswoman Patsy Mink took a stand for women's rights by pushing Title IX, balancing the playing field, and allowing women to reach for the stars.
Patsy Matsu Takimoto Mink was born in Paia, Maui on December 6, 1927 to Suematsu Takimoto and Mitama Tateyama Takimoto. At a young age, Patsy Mink recognized inequalities between the Caucasian plantation owners and the Japanese and Filipino workers. Takimoto wanted a career in medicine, so she attended the University of Hawaii for 2 years, but later moved to the University of Nebraska, where she joined other minorities to protest the university's policy of housing foreign students in a different campus facility. She later received her undergraduate degree from the University of Hawaii in 1948, and in 1951, she married John Francis Mink and had a daughter named Gwendolyn. Because she was female, she was denied entry into medical school, so she opened her own private law practice and lectured on business law. In 1965, she won a seat in the U.S. Congress and marked the beginning of a legacy that would last a lifetime.
In the 1900s, women were largely affected by gender bias and had limited opportunities in areas like sports and education. This deterred them from reaching their full potential and possibly having a contribution to society. They were denied access and participation, their contributions were not acknowledged, and men were treated better than women. One example was when Kathrine Switzer was attacked in the 1967 Boston Marathon.
And all of a sudden, the flatbed truck is in front of us, and I heard the photographer saying, "Slow down, slow down, slow down." And they're taking pictures of us. On this truck was the race directors. One of them was a feisty character by the name of Jock Semple. He just stopped the bus, jumped off, and ran after me. Suddenly I turned, and he just grabbed me and screamed at me, "Get the hell out of my race and give me those numbers." The journalists got very aggressive. "What are you trying to prove? Are you a suffragette? Are you a crusader?"
Eventually, it all smoothed out, and Kathrine Switzer became the first woman to finish the Boston Marathon. Today, she is a commentator and pleased to see so many women participating. The WASPs, women aircraft service pilots, played an essential role in World War II, but weren't granted military rank until 1977, more than 30 years after their contributions were made. In the 1940s, the U.S. Air Force faced a shortage of pilots, so they started hiring women as service pilots. They ferried and tested planes and told targets for air and ground gunners to practice shooting. The program wasn't actually a military unit. They were a civil service unit, so the military didn't pay the fees to ferry the bodies back home to be buried. More than 60 years later, the U.S. military finally recognized the contribution of the WASPs with a Congressional Gold Medal. They may not be the most decorated military unit, but they were one of the most influential that changed the world. Marjorie Molly Lay was a female bank teller at Bank of Hawaii in 1959. At that time, men tellers were paid more than women.
When I was hired as a teller in 1959, I was told that men tellers are paid on a higher pay scale than women tellers because men have families to support. There were no equal pay or gender bias laws at that time. Also, it was harder for women to get promoted into the supervisory or management ranks because it was believed that a woman supervisor would stay home whenever their children got sick. So when I was promoted to a supervisor in the late 60s, whenever one of my girls got sick, my husband would have to take off from work and take care of my children.
Hardworking women like my grandma, essential groups such as the WASPs, and strong female athletes like Kathrine Switzer, along with many other women, struggled throughout history to participate in various events and contribute to society. Women needed something to even the playing field between women and men. They were constantly treated unfairly, they had limited opportunities, and men were treated better than women. Something had to change.
In 1971, Congresswoman Patsy Mink realized inequalities between men and women, so she decided to take a stand against gender inequality.
When she became Congresswoman, she made sure that she had some role in rewriting the rules.
She began drafting Title IX, a law that would change the lives of women dramatically. Title IX was a law that states, No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. When Title IX was first revealed to Congress in the fall of 1971, it aroused strong feelings from some of the members. At the time, it seemed like Title IX would impact many women around the nation. Unfortunately, it wasn't received well by everyone. Many people in the world of sports and education were angry. They thought the law would take money away from boys' sports programs. People who opposed Title IX fought hard to change the law. These people wanted the law to be weaker. Others wanted to repeal the law completely. Patsy Mink continued to campaign for the law during her political career. As of 2007, Title IX had gone back and forth between Congress 27 times. The fight for equal rights still isn't over, but Patsy Mink's work on it was legendary.
There are really good reasons why this became one of her biggest campaigns ever, is because of the personal adversities that she experienced.
Title IX became an official law on June 23, 1972. It impacted women around the nation and changed America forever. It has started us on the road to gender equality and opened doors for American women.
Immediately after Title IX was passed and enacted, changes quickly occurred. It inspired women to fight for what they believed in, it gave them courage, and gave them more opportunities to participate. One example was the Battle of the Sexes in 1973. 55-year-old Bobby Riggs, a former Wimbledon champion, believed that he could beat any female player. Billie Jean King, a female tennis player, rose up to the challenge and beat Riggs in a best-of-5 set match.
The whole reason I wanted to win the match, because I knew it was about social change, and I wanted to start the hearts and minds of people to start matching up with Title IX.
Catherine Matayoshi became the superintendent of Hawaii's DOE on September 13, 2010. As a superintendent, she realizes all of the benefits of Title IX.
Title IX is really important for a number of things. One, of course, is sports. We offer many more girls' sports.
Also, as the superintendent, she realizes more confidence in female students.
I do think that girls have a much stronger sense of who they are and more opportunities to lead. That makes a big difference when you know that you have an opportunity and that there's not a preconceived notion that you're not athletic or you can't run or you don't know how to throw a ball. You know, those are things that are just not true.
In 1972, there were only 294,000 women in high school sports, but in 2010, there were 3.2 million thanks to Title IX. Dave Shoji, the UH women's volleyball coach, has been coaching the UH women's volleyball team for 43 years without having a losing season. He began his coaching career in 1975, just 3 years after Title IX became an official law.
Oh, it's way, way different now. Now we have almost everything that anybody could want. You have a nice weight room, you have a nice locker room, you have nice practice facilities. You play in a beautiful arena like this. Back in the day when we started, we had a hot, stuffy, small gym. We could only practice from 5:30 to 7:30 in Clum Gym. We had to share the courts with women's basketball. The girls got very little scholarship money. It's just night and day now. Now they're treated as equal to the men. They're treated as serious athletes. We're thankful for Patsy Mink and the law that she enacted.
Title IX fueled women and gave them courage for years to come.
Title IX is like, wow, a whole new world.
Before Title IX, women were hugely affected by gender bias, making it difficult for them to have a positive impact on society. They were denied access and participation, their contributions were not acknowledged, and men were treated better than women. Patsy Mink realized the inequalities between men and women, so she drafted and passed a game-changing law. After the law passed, she continued amendments to keep the law effective and give women the same rights as men. Over time, women have shined in various fields such as education and sports. They have received more opportunities for better jobs to make money for their families and themselves. Patsy Mink's efforts with Title IX show how ordinary people can impact the world with courage and a dream. She taught our generation that all people deserve to be treated equally. Since Patsy Mink was such a big part of women's equal rights, they renamed Title IX the Patsy Mink Equal Opportunity Act after she passed away. Patsy Mink has made a tremendous impact on society.